episode 22, Sweet Lord. It's your boy, Search and Rescue, or Rescue and Search. And it's your boy Icon with some DC TV and some Young Justice. And the moment, ladies and gentlemen, has finally arrived, because this particular episode, it is now time for the GOATS arc. We didn't did Aquaman, we did Kid Flash, we did Superboy, Miss Martian, Artemis, we did the whole shebang, and now it's time for some little Nightwing action. Now, all roads lead back to young Richard Gillian Grayson. In this particular episode, Zatanna, she's still trying to, save Connor's life, because she found out that his soul is trapped in the Phantom Zone. But they couldn't bring his soul out of the Phantom Zone, and like she said, in order for us to save Connor's ass, we need a detective. So what she does, she goes crawling back to the GOAT. She goes looking for Nightwing, looking for Dick, and then, in more ways than one, and then she finds him at the circus. And this was a cool callback, because he's at the circus and he's performing, like the trapezius, like the Flying Grayson act, but he's doing it as Dan Danger. He's not doing it as Richard Grayson, member of the Flying Graysons. He's actually doing it as Dan Danger. And I thought that was really cool. It's kind of jacked up, though, because we don't bring up any of the other Danger kids in the other Danger family, but he's doing the trapeze thing. He goes flying through the stars and everything as only Grayson can. And then when the ringmaster's still alive, and I was just like, well, damn, like that's legitimately surprising, because the ringmaster was old in season 1. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine how old he is now. But anyway, so, he's backstage, he's celebrating a job well done. And then Zatanna shows up. When Zatanna shows up, she's just like, hey, listen, I need your help, because she does the little magic thing. She shows him Connor in the Phantom Zone. And then when she shows him, he's just like, oh, this can't be real. This can't be true. And then Zatanna's just like, hey, listen, just give me 24 hours to prove that that what I'm saying is the truth. And then, she's like, and if I'm wrong, then you can walk away. And, now obviously he dating Barbara, so this is awkward. But he agreed to do it. He agreed to help her. But he said she only gets 24 hours. Now, here's where the story gets put together throughout the course of the entire season. Because throughout the course of the entire season, every individual original character, the original 8, which was Superboy, Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, Zatanna, Rocket, Artemis, and Miss Martian, those were the original 8. And each this whole season, every arc has been about the original 8. So, but every single thing that each individual character went through, we're now piecing it all together when we're bringing it all together. So the first thing that they do, they start looking through like some archives. They find out that Bart is missing. And then Dick is just like, well, he said it might not be related, but as Batman tells you, you got to go through everything. So he goes looking into the Bart situation. They find out that Bart is with 2 people that they don't know, that they don't recognize. They then do facial recognition and find those same 2 people had a conversation with Superman. So both he and Zatanna go down and talk to Superman. They ask Superman, like, do you know who these people are? Superman is like, yes, but I can't tell you because I was sworn to secrecy. And then they were just like, well, those 2 people are with Bart and Bart's missing. He was just like, but if Bart's not in danger, he's like, I can't tell you. He's being a super dick about it. And then the 2 of them get mad and they walk away. So now, like, through more facial recognition, they find out that not only were these 2 people, with Bart, not only were they with Superman, but they were there the night that Superboy declared, who he was to the world. They were there in the diner, and they've been doing surveillance on us for a long time. But then they find out that it's not so much surveillance on them, but maybe just like Connor in particular. So then they start looking into, Bart's whole thing in this, and they were just like, well, if they're with Bart, they obviously look like they were gearing up for supplies because they were at a supermarket. So then they was just like, okay, if they need supplies, they're obviously going to take supplies from the Watchtower. Now here's where the gang comes back together. They go to the Watchtower, and Artemis is there. Artemis is the one that's doing the archive checking for all the weapons and everything. They ask her about the weapons. They find out that weapons were taken, like things were stolen, from the archives or whatever. And then they saw the footage of Bart's foot, and they know that he actually took weapons and he took supplies to get on the bioship. So now they were just like, okay, but the stuff that Bart took is things that you would take if you were going on an outer space mission, like an outer space mission. And then that's when Artemis was like, well, a team just came back from doing an outer space mission to New Genesis. And now we bring back Rocket. Rocket comes in, they go to Rocket House. Rocket's son had on an Icon uniform, and I thought that was cute. And then they ask her, they were just like, when you were on New Genesis, did you see anything crazy? And then she said she saw 2 red beams coming out of the sky. Zatanna does her magic, gets into her brain, and then they show the beam where the beam from the bio ship destroyed the generator, and then they showed like the generator closing that was clearly a door open to the Phantom Zone. And then Zatanna shows everybody like Connor screaming for help. And then when they see the Phantom Zone projector, they see Bart in the ship and everything. That's when Dick put it all together, and he was like, holy shit, Superboy's trapped in the Phantom Zone. Bart has something to do with it, and Bart's with the time travelers. They're time traveling. They're trying to stop this other time traveling. And Dick just put it all together, and the girls are looking at him like, how the hell did he put that together? And then that was a funny line because Rocket had even said at one point, she said, this boy's been doing like trapeze stuff upside down for days now. Are we sure he's not crazy? And then that's when Artemis was just like, well, the 2 of you dated him. So somewhere along those Young Justice time jumps, like Dick ended up dating Zatanna, and then he eventually ended up dating Rocket, which was awkward and weird to me because Zatanna and Rocket are actually best friends. But but they both dated Dick. So now that they believe her finally, they're just like, okay, now we need to come up with a plan to actually get this boy out of the Phantom Zone. And they needed a magical anchor because Zatanna said that she knows for a fact, because of what she did with her story arc, she knows that Clarion has the ability to go in and out of the Phantom Zone. And then we go and get Calder. And when we go to Atlantis to go get Calder was the only person whose story arc actually had nothing to do with this entire plan that's been woven together. But how they brought him in was funny because when they showed up to go talk to Calder, he was just like, oh, I'm back from my sabbatical of taking 30 days off. And he said, I think I finally come to terms with Connor's death. And they're just like, yeah, about that. Because now he's alive. And, he got the beard now and everything. They go to the Tower of Fate. And they said that Clarion owes Zatanna a debt because of the whole girl thing, the whole baby girl, blonde girl thing that was trying to take over the world. And she said that she's going to call in her debt to have Clarion go into the Phantom Zone and pull Connor out. So they summon Clarion. Clarion shows up. He's got his little cat Tico with him, whatever. And he refused to pull Connor out of the Phantom Zone. And then he was just like, first of all, how dare you summon me? And he said, that because you summoned me, he's like, I'm going to do you all a favor and kill you. He's in the Tower of Fate now. He's fighting everybody, whooping everybody's ass. And then finally, Zatanna used like a magical contract spell to say that he actually has to honor, his debt and repay his debt. But then he was just like, fine. He was like, I'll repay the debt. He's like, but I'm going to repay my debt by not killing you all. And I'm just like, but you started that fight. And then like he disappears and then he dips. And then after that, that's when they were just like, Rocket was like, okay, so do we have a plan B? And then Zatanna was just like, yeah, but she said, but it involves Dick trying to track down a magic school bus. And at that point, if the Clarion thing didn't work, and I understand that the school bus was able to travel through the Phantom Zone. I understand that. But if you're looking for a magical anchor, at what point are we going to bring McGann into this fold? And I'm like, I understand that they don't want to bring her in yet because since it is Connor related, she might not respond to that well. But you needed magical powers of some sort. Like, I feel like if McGann was here, that would have like tipped the tide with the whole Clarion situation. They could have brought Clarion. They could have actually got Clarion to do what they wanted. I'm just like, I don't understand this. I don't understand why we're not calling McGann, because McGann's the person that we need now. But instead, we're gonna track down some magic school bus. But anyway, so in the next episode, now they're gonna try to catch. I don't even know like at what point in time are they gonna try to catch this bus, or does this bus still have residual magic from 30 years ago, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but I'm interested because it's Young Justice, and Young Justice is the shit. So now, as far as Connor's concerned, he's in the Phantom Zone. He's talking to General Zod and his wife, and he's basically telling them the story of Krypton. He's just like, I'm the Superboy, the clone of the Superman. And then Zod was like, what's your family crest? And he drew the House of L, and Zod was like, what the hell? And this is another thing, and I'm sick of them doing this. Like, I swear to God, before this season is over, Supergirl had better be on this show. Because even then, when they were just like, because when Connor drew his crest, and then Zod was like, oh, you're with the House of L. He was like, yes, I'm Con-El. And then he was like, what the hell? He was like, are you Jor-El's son? And then, he was like, are you Jor-El or Zor-El's son? And then the wife was like, no, because Zor-El had a daughter. And I'm just like, that's like the 5th time y'all done reference Supergirl. And if we're acknowledging the fact that the Zor-El family exists, and if we're acknowledging the fact that she literally said out of her own mouth, Zor-El had a daughter. Where's Supergirl? can we get Supergirl on the show, please? Like, I would like to see some Supergirl. It's bad enough we don't got Raven. It's bad enough we don't got Starfire. I would like to see some Supergirl on some motherfucking Young Justice. So he tells him the story, and then he was just like, my God, man. He was like, he was like, how long have we been trapped here? We were only supposed to be here for 10 years. And then he was like, it's been 40 years, since Krypton was destroyed. And he was like, oh no. And then this was a funny line, because he was just like, how did Krypton explode? And then he said the sun exploded and took Krypton with it. And then he was like, but how did Kal-El survive? And then he said Jor-El put his only son in a pod and sent him off to Earth. And he's like, he only saved one boy. And then he told him, he said Jor-El actually tried to save the entire Krypton, but nobody wanted to listen to him or believe him. And then Zod was like, well, he's like, well, that sounds familiar. But now they've got some thinking to do, because they know they think Superman is dead, but they know 10 years have passed. They know 40 years have passed, They know 40 years have passed. They know Krypton is destroyed. They know that the L family is gone, and they don't know what to do now, and they have to try to figure that out. And the funny thing is, one, they don't know that his wife is still currently pregnant, because Lord Zod is still in the womb. They haven't figured that one out yet. And they also haven't figured out like how they're supposed to get out of the Phantom Zone, seeing how Krypton exploded, and they were only supposed to serve a 10-year sentence. When Lord Zod was on the bio ship and he was talking to the Legion of Superhero members, she actually told him, she was like, look, dumbass, she said, you actually won. You killed Connor when you were on Mars. Connor died. All you had to do was go back to your time, and there would have been no Legion of Superheroes. There would have been no like Connor Kent to inspire the Legion of Superheroes, and you could have got away scot-free with letting your parents out. But no, and I said this in like two or three episodes ago. I actually said this, but she was like, no, yo dumbass wanted to steal a Phantom Zone projector, and you want to try to bust your parents out of the Phantom Zone like 10, 30, 40, 50 million years earlier than they were supposed to. Now, because you got too cocky, you done messed up, and now there is no Phantom Zone projector, and now you can't get and now when you go back to your own time period, there will be no Phantom Zone projector for your parents to come out of. Ha, you stupid. But then after that, he was just like, wait a minute. He was like, isn't the Kaiser Thrall or whatever? He was like, isn't it on Oa? Isn't it on with the Green Lantern Corps? And then they was like, yes. Then he was like, bio ship set a course for Oa and the Green Lantern Corps, so we can get back to the Kaiser Thrall. And I have no idea what the Kaiser Thrall has to do with any of this, but I guess we'll find out in next week's episode of Young Justice. And thank you for tuning in. So like I said, we're off to the races. Episode 22 is in the books. We have 4 episodes of Young Justice left, and I know at least 3 of them are going to pertain Nightwing, and I'm definitely down for it. As you can see clearly by the paraphernalia, we doing this Nightwing thing, and we gonna ride this train all the way to the end. So check me out on Twitter, check me out on Instagram, always on YouTube, where you can share your questions, comments, and or concerns. Hit that notification bell. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and again, hit that notification bell so you can get notified when my next Young Justice video pops up. Also my other videos, because we're doing Superman and Lois, we got Naomi on the channel who had her season finale. For you Marvel fans, we got Moon Knight on the channel as well, and we're still doing The Flash as always, as we wait for Superman and Lois to return at the end of May. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So until next time, for some Young Justice, for some Nightwing action, take care, and I'm out this bitch.